Are you live yet? Are you live? There we go. Hey, what's up, guys? Oh, sorry, this thing got in the way. Wow. Holy crap, there's a lot of comments here already. Oops. Let me just mute this real quick. There you go. Alright. Hey, guys, welcome to the live stream. This is kind of going to be a beta test. Never really done this, so might be a little bit awkward, but I really want to get to know you guys a little bit better, and I don't know, what better way than this, so... We're in my dorm room right now at school. Not the cleanest place ever, but it does the job. Alright, let's see what you guys have to say. Alright, so Oliver Obert asks, did you build up your new bike yet? So he's referring to the Evil Calling, which is actually in my closet, as you can see, and it is not built up. So... No, I haven't built it up. First week of March, I should have it built up. Few reasons for that. Some of the parts haven't come in yet. So, yeah. Holy crap, these things are going like crazy. I'm going to skip... Damn. You guys... I was not expecting the comments to come in this fast. Holy... let's see. Hey guys, thanks for joining. Let's see. Can I put a 140 mil? Man, is there a way to slow these comments down? There's got to be a way. Toggle timestamps. Darn, can't figure that. Alright. Where'd that comment go? Alright, so MTB Ari asks, can I put a 140 fork on a 120 millimeter bike? You can. The one thing you gotta watch out for is sometimes bikes are designed for a specific travel fork, and if you go over a certain amount, you could void the warranty because you might be putting too much stress on the head or the head tube. So you gotta watch out for that. You usually like 20 millimeters, you should be fine. Do I own a hardtail? Asked by Zach Durham. Yes, I do. The Raleigh Tokel. It's actually what I've been riding quite a bit since my Evo is not quite built up. Mad Dog, worst crash. I've never gotten like super injured, but one of the crashes that impacted me the most was the crash that I had in Colombia last year. I crashed in one of the urban downhill races like 9 seconds into my first practice run, and I just went over the bars, and you can find it on Facebook someplace, but it was a nasty crash, and it kind of psyched me out for the rest of the season. So last year wasn't my best in terms of race results, but yeah. Whew. Damn. Let me check something real quick, guys. There's got to be a way to slow down the comments. Let's see. Comment. Cars, live control room. Let's see. Huh. I'm not seeing this. There's got to be a way to slow down the comments because I'm getting one like every like second. You guys are awesome. Like seriously. If you tap on them, try. I have the comments open in a on my computer, so that's actually where I'm reading most of them, but they're still coming in like crazy fast. Alright, you're saying there's not a way to slow them down. Yeah, I'm just gonna read them off the off my computer. I think that's the best way. Alright, let's go back. Live control room. Sorry, this is my first time doing this, so there's going to be a few quirks to be worked out. Oops. Sweet. Ooh, configure. Nope. Cancel changes. Alright, who's my favorite rider? Asked by, I'm not even going to pronounce your name. Oh, fine, I'll try. Yaifai Fu. My favorite rider Video wise is probably Chris Akrig. He's actually one of the reasons why I got a video camera and started recording videos. All of his videos are super unique. They have a really good theme to them, and they're super interesting. Plus, it's Chris Agrick. He's badass. David Brown fan, are you going to be doing any enduro races this year? Maybe. There's a race at Killington, which isn't too far from my house, and I love Killington Resort, so I might be doing that one. But enduro is not really my thing. I like downhill, which is just fast paced. Enduro is a little bit more conserving your speed and like thinking long term game. So I've done like one or two, and they went. Let's see. All right, scroll up. Raleigh Tolko or the Diamondback H-Rose. I don't know what the Diamondback H-Rose is. Hold on, let me Google that really quickly. Alright, it looks like it's a full suspension bike, and so I'm gonna recommend going with the Raleigh Tolko. Depending on what model you get. The reason for this is when you spend under like around $1,000 for a bike, the components are going to be the things that suffer the most. So if you go with a full suspension bike under $1,000, you're going to get crappy suspension front and back, and then the rest of the components are going to be really crappy. If you go with a hardtail for around that price range, well, they instead of putting just crappy suspension on, they can save a little bit of that money and put it into slightly better components on the rest of the frame. So for that reason, the Raleigh Tolko will most likely be more reliable, but it's really hard to find. Like bikes under $1,000 are hit or miss. Some are really good. Some are. I'm going to scroll down a little bit more. Would I recommend buying a YT Capra? Yes. YTs are making some awesome bikes these days, and I would definitely consider picking up one myself. Definitely recommend looking into them at least, especially since they're doing direct to consumer. That cuts out the cost of bike shops, which is not good for bike shops, but for the consumer, it can be a really good thing. I'm going to scroll down. All right, James. Man, I can't. Siliger? Sorry, I just butchered your name. When did I start riding seriously, and for how long? Well, when I was 5 years old. I started riding BMX in California. That's where I used to live. And I actually just kind of lucked into it. And my parents were super on board to help me out. 5 years old is when I started riding competitively. And it's kind of weird because my parents were not competitive people. So it's kind of weird that they would have gone out of their way to bring me to all these competitions. But yeah, I started riding BMX when I was 5, and then when I was 15, that's when I started riding mountain bikes, and that's because I ended up moving around a bunch, and I eventually landed in New Hampshire, where BMX kind of sucked because there's no good locations to ride BMX, and yeah, there's a lot of mountains in New Hampshire, so that's why I took up downhill, and it wasn't until a few years later that I turned pro. Let's see, scroll down some more. 29er or 27 plus? That really depends on what you're going to be using it for, Josh. 29ers are more efficient. So if you're going to be doing like cross-country races or like long endurance rides, I'd recommend a 29er. But if you're looking to have a little bit more fun and you kind of want a little bit of suspension without having suspension, 27 plus is really good, just kind of heavy because of the extra tire size. Let's see. CFS Adventures. Can I tail whip? No. That's something that I've tried for the longest time and I've never been able to figure it out. I've gotten close getting it around, but I've never gotten like a leg over. My favorite manufacturer of bikes. Sorry, I didn't catch your name. Huh. I don't. There's a lot of cool companies out there these days. It's hard to like pick one favorite. I think Evil is pretty high up there. They definitely make some of the best looking and definitely in best looking bikes. Yeti is pretty high up there. YT is definitely high up there. But it really depends. There's a lot of really cool bikes coming out there these days. It's hard to pinpoint to just one. Yeah, that's not really a great answer, sorry. DuPont or Pisgah? Oh man, that's the second question I'm answering from you. Depends. If I'm just bringing somebody out on a general trail ride, I'll pick DuPont because it's easier to get around and there's a lot of cool stuff out there. But Pisgah, when you're talking about Pisgah is huge. Like, I think it spans like 70, maybe even 100 miles because Pisgah starts, I think, below Asheville, then goes all the way up to where I am, which is in Banner Elk, North Carolina. And the Pisgah up by me is completely different than the Pisgah down south or in the southern part of the state. Stuff around Brevard is a little bit better marked. So if you're just going out for a trail ride, you can kind of navigate it. However, if you come up to the stuff like where I am at, the Wilson's Creek area, well, in those situations, they're not very well marked, and you need to be with somebody who knows the trails. I don't like going out there by myself because I still barely know the area, but I like that area. It's very raw, untamed trails, and it's freaking awesome. If you haven't seen some of the trails, just got pop up over here. The Trek farewell last ride. That was Wilson's Creek. Phil, how's your wheelies? They still suck. I've gotten better, but honestly, I haven't practiced as much as I should have been lately. So, partially because of snow, but also a little bit out of laziness. So I've gotten better. It's just like I'm still struggling big time on wheelies. Who can enter races? Matthew Dodd asked that. Depends. There are some races that are completely unsanctioned and anyone can enter them. Then, if USA Cycling is putting them on, pretty much anyone can still enter them, but you will need to buy at least a day pass license. If you're a Cat 2 rider or at least expert rider, you will need to buy a annual license. And once you start getting up there in categories, they start getting really expensive. But they did change their pricing system. Joel asked, where did I learn to backflip? Camp Woodward. I went to Camp Woodward in 2003 and 2004. And if you don't know what Camp Woodward is, it's like the best place ever if you're either a skateboarder, a BMXer, I guess rollerblader if that's still a thing. And they have a foam pit, which is basically just a pit filled with foam and with a lip in front of it. So you can pretty much do anything you want and not get hurt as long as you don't throw the bike. So that took me about 2-3 days to learn it. It's not too hard. And I actually learned it when I was 13, but I didn't get them like down good until I was 14. But I only typically do them around like once or twice a year because high risk and I don't want to get hurt. Let's see. Is building muscles helping to prevent injury? Let me speak English. Does building up muscles help prevent injuries? All right. Well, I'm not a physical assistant, whatever the word that I'm looking for. Yes, it would definitely help out. Especially if you have like a little extra muscle padding, like to like soften your crashes. That's the way I look at it. Let's see. Let me screw up here. Flats or cleats? Asked by Mad Dog. That really depends on the situation. I personally love riding in flats just because it's more fun. However, if I'm racing dual slalom, I'll definitely clip in for that because I'm trying to put down power the whole race, and you can actually pedal over features which you can't really do on flat pedals that well. Like I find that on flat pedals, if I try to like pedal over chunky stuff like rocks or even rollers, my feet get bounced around and often come off. Let's see, I'm gonna scroll all the way down. Fetish bikes. Oh man, thanks guys so much for the comments. Holy crap. I Naro Obach asks, who are you sponsored by? Alright, well, one of them is Cane Creek. They do like rear suspension stuff, so that's what I'm going to be putting on my bike when I get them. They also do like really high quality bearings and stuff. Other than that, I'm sponsored by Defeat. They make those weird socks I like to wear. Oh, interest. Do I still have the Toco 3? Yes, I do. Definitely still have it. It's what I've been riding the most, and I've really gotten to love it. Phil, how's the new bike? Mentioned it, still not built. Give me another few weeks. Nah, why? I guess someone asked me to shave or something. Yep, of course. Well, hey, do the ladies love my dirty duster? It's not what I call it, but I did ask Haley if she preferred me having this or a beard, and she's into both, but no facial hair does not work on me. So, a little story about the mustaches. It actually started off as a joke, somewhat. We were doing team pictures for our school team, and we all decided that we were going to do mustaches. So I had a beard at the time, so I just let it grow out into this. And people told me I couldn't shave afterwards, so I've had it ever since. And I've kind of gotten to like it, so that's why I still have it. Let's see, what program do I use to edit videos, and how do I do voiceover? I use Final Cut Pro 10. I use a Mac, and on Macs, Final Cut Pro is way better optimized than Premiere, and it's also a lot cheaper. Well, it used to be a lot cheaper. I don't know if it is anymore, but I've gotten used to it. I really like it, and they have a built-in voiceover function right in the app. And there's also for voiceover, I use a mic which is up there. I can't grab it at the moment. A Yeti, a Blue Yeti mic, and I got it used off Amazon for like $70. Super cheap. What is a good cheap camera? You can probably pick up a good GoPro these days. They're super cheap, but I mean, you're gonna be stuck with a fisheye. So honestly, your cell phone camera can do a lot of cool stuff these days. Favorite trail at Whistler. So I've been to Whistler. I didn't really get the whole experience, so I'd say Dirt Merchant, but I don't go to Whistler that often. I've only been once, so my opinion's not really valid. How old am I? I'm 26, so I'm kind of like Billy Madison here at college. Favorite trail feature? I love step-ups. Step-ups are probably the coolest thing ever. What am I studying? Business and marketing. And also minoring in graphic design, but mainly focusing on the business and marketing stuff. Wherever I end up, I want to have it. I want to be doing something related to bikes. So I'm at the perfect school for that. Let's see. Any tips to recover from a shoulder collarbone injury, not fractured, but just sore AF? Man, I am not qualified to answer that question. Sorry, man. Favorite North Shore stuff. I'm not sure if you're asking about like North Shore style features or features out in the Pacific Northwest. If we're talking about North Shore features, I can tell you my least favorite, which is skinnies. I hate skinnies. They scare the crap out of me. Uh, Best place to demo bikes in North Carolina. Brevard, they have three really good shops, and I think they all demo bikes. So the Hub Cyclery, Sycamore, and then what's the other one? Squash Bike Co. What is your political affiliation? Question that I'm not going to answer because that's just going to open up a shitstorm. Oops. Let's see. Um, I'm in Boone. What are your favorite lesser known trails? Well, stuff that we have on campus. Well, hey, first off, you're really close to home. Um, Apparently, there's some really cool stuff on the backside of beach that I don't know of yet that I'm supposed to, I guess. Someone's going to take me there pretty soon, and apparently that stuff's supposed to be really cool, like shuttle kind of trails. What was my first good bike? If we're talking about mountain bikes, my first mountain bike was a Kona Stinky Supreme. Keep in mind, I had a bunch of bikes before that, but that was my first downhill mountain bike, and I got it used off Amazon. I probably bought, not Amazon, eBay, and I probably bought a size way too big, but it treated me well. The thing was huge, super, super heavy. Coil or air shock? I prefer air, mainly because I like progressive springs, and you can't do that with coils unless you have a progressive leverage ratio already on your bike. Please say Randy. Randy. Best upgrade for your bike, or if you're not doing 1x11 right now or 1x10, honestly, get rid of the front derailleur. In most cases, yes. 1x11 is like the best thing that's happened to bikes, just because it's simplified the drivetrain, gotten rid of the front derailleur, which is one of the worst components on bikes, and clutch derailleurs help keep the chain on and prevent them from dropping. So it just makes it a lot more fun to ride because you're not stopping every 2 seconds to pick up your chain, which is dropped, because who likes that? It's not fun. Can I find a cheap dirt jumper? Probably. Check Pink Bike buy and sell used section. That's a good place to pick up used stuff. Let's see. Do I ever ride a 29er? What do I think about them? If you asked me 5 years ago, I would say they're like the least cool things ever. Now, there's a few 29ers that I definitely want. But no, I do not ride 29ers because I don't have one. If I did, if I could pick any 29er to get, it would probably be the Evil Reckoning. Full disclosure, I'm not sponsored by Evil. I just think their bikes are damn sexy. But Norco has some pretty sweet bikes out there. Pretty much everybody has like a sweet 29er these days. But I'd go with a long travel 29er if I could. Phil, how many bikes have I had? Too many. I've broken a lot, which doesn't help. Easily over 20. Tyler Gatsby, lots of skinnies at Vietnam in Milford. Have I been? Yes, I have. About 4 years ago, so I need to go back. But if you guys don't know, the Vietnam trails in like the Boston like suburbs are some of the more interesting and I guess old school New England trails. They're pretty iconic. skiing or snowboarding? That was asked by Max. And I actually grew up skiing when I was really little, but my sister started snowboarding and I thought she was really cool, so I started snowboarding, and so I probably can't ski that well anymore. I actually don't snowboard much anymore just because it's too expensive. I had to pick one sport or the other between mountain biking and snowboarding, and I just can't justify spending like $80 a day on a lift ticket. Let's see. Did I speak any Spanish when I was in Colombia? Yes, I did. It was so I took Spanish in high school. I actually grew. So let me back up a little bit. I lived in France for 5 years, 4.5, but I round up. And so when I came back to the U.S., I had to take a language at school, and my mom said taking French would be cheating, so I ended up taking Spanish. So I took 5 years of Spanish at school, and I got all right. I mean, it's one thing to learn it in the classroom setting, it's another thing to go to a country and speak it. So I think if you gave me a year, it would have been like a lot of fun to like speak it. But I, I, yeah, I definitely got better when I was in Colombia, but it's nothing to brag about. Uh, Phil, please answer. I have a 2011 RockShox Totem. How do you think this fork compares to the modern Lyric? Well, bike components evolve so quickly that the Lyric is going to be way better. With that said, if we're looking at the price you're going to spend on a new Lyric versus what you have, I mean, 2011 at that point, unless you've been maintaining it well, it might be time for an upgrade. Uh, Nathaniel MTB, am I ever going to come ride in the UK? Eventually, I'd love to. Haven't had a chance yet, and it's pretty expensive to get over there, but from what I can tell, the trails there are pretty badass. So, yeah. Uh, Pay, favorite trick. Knack-knacks, foot plants, and nose bonks. Give me a second here. Would I ever come to Ireland? Hell yeah. If I get the opportunity, I definitely will go. Right now, with school and financial situations, it's not going to happen, but eventually it probably will. Uh, Maz asks, best place to mount your GoPro. I think for POV footage, the chest is one of the most stable areas, so you'll get some of the better quality footage from there. At the same time, if you don't have a chest mount, definitely on the helmet, just centered. Some people do underneath the visor, which I do like, but it's really tricky because sometimes like it'll actually be in front of your vision, which is a no-no. Uh, you're welcome, Matthew. Uh, have I ever ridden with Matt Dennison? No, I have not. Let's see, SRAM or Shimano. I actually like SRAM shifters. Like they feel better, like ergonomical. But I prefer the shifting of Shimano, and definitely, yeah. I'm gonna screw. Man, let's see. Is it worth upgrading a $400 bike, or should I just save up and buy an awesome bike? Save up and buy an awesome bike. Um, yeah, $400 bikes are definitely better than anything you can get in a department store, but not much better, unfortunately. So save up and get a better bike, and I'd honestly recommend going the used route. If you know someone that knows a lot about bikes, have them help you find a good bike on either Pink Bike or Craigslist? YOLO Ninja, nice name. Am I Canadian? No, but I live in New Hampshire, which is like, I don't know, it borders on Canada, so I kind of, not really. But I did do a few hockey camps in Quebec, so. Do I? Alright, alright, someone asked what my dream vehicle to haul a bike around. Well, right now I have a Honda Element, which is pretty damn close. There's actually a dude out of Asheville, North Carolina, who has like this really cool micro camper setup. It's called Fifth Element Camping. Look it up. It's really cool. And he has this completely modular system that goes inside of a Honda Element and makes it a camper. And the dude mountain bikes. So if you're looking for, weekend trips, I think that would be an awesome rig. But my dream vehicle, I think, like other mountain bikers, is a Sprinter van. Phil, what is your preferred bar length? Well, I totally forgot to mention these guys when you asked me my sponsors. Deity, they were the first company to really help support me. And I run all their bars, and all the bars on my bikes are the 787 millimeters, which comes out to 31 inches. Let's see. I love pink bike used bikes in all caps. Favorite pro DH racer? I have a few. This question can't be answered without saying Aaron Gwynn. He's by far the most consistent. Greg Menard is most consistent, but Aaron Gwynn is the most dominant mountain biker right now, and it's super, super fun to watch. He's also American, so I've gotten to interact with him at a few races, and super, super humble guy. It's kind of funny. We've actually had conversations about hair products at the top of races before we go down. I don't use hair products, by the way. Let's see. What are my thoughts on the Northern Irish brand Vitus? I didn't know they were from Ireland. That's good to know. Good. I've seen their bikes. They're low priced, and you get a pretty good bang for your bike. Bang for your buck. Sorry. Someone else said Danny Hart. Yes, Danny Hart is one of my favorite racers to watch by far. Interesting comments here. Let's see. How tall am I? I'm 5'10". When will my Evo be built up? Soon. Beginning of March. Do I have a trials bike? Not currently. I used to. I used to have a Adamant Mod trials bike. So that's a 20-inch trials bike, and they're super fun to ride. Just very unpractical. You can't go anywhere with them. So I never really used it a whole lot. And I also found the hydraulic rim brakes to be a big pain in the butt to adjust. So once those failed on me, I actually got rid of it pretty quickly. Let's see. Phil, have you seen the new Hope bike? Hopefully coming end of this year. Yes, I have. That bike is very, very pretty. What's the price range on that? It's got to be pretty expensive because it looks very boutique. Riley, do I have a full scholarship for riding? No, I do not have a full scholarship. Definitely getting a lot of help, but not a full scholarship. Hey, ice cream trucker. I wish I could. Never mind. Yeah, guys, try to keep the things PG-13. I do have a band hammer, and I will use it. Rawr. Not that I want to. but try to keep it PG-13. How many times do I crash? All the time. If I'm not crashing once a ride, I probably didn't ride hard enough. Some of them are obviously worse than others, but growing up as a BMXer, I've gotten used to crashing, just like throwing the bike. So I'm pretty good at getting out of hairy situations. Let's see. Worst injury? I broke my hand twice and I broke my collarbone, but those are the only broken bones I've had. Uh, any tips for building a flow trail? Knowing how to lay. The hard parts about flow trails is you need a lot of space, and usually, I mean, if we're talking about like a typical flow trail, they're super wide, so they're usually built with an excavator because they're bench cutting the whole time. So maintaining a consistent grade downhill. I think a lot of flow trails like go back up, and that really kills any speed. What is my opinion on Yeti? I've ridden a few Yetis and I love them. My first trail bike was a Yeti. One of my favorite downhill bikes, which was the Yeti 303 World Cup, which ended up cracking on me unfortunately. But I love Yeti, but they're pricey. What college do I go to? I go to Lees McRae College in Banner Elk, North Carolina. It's it's got 1,000 students, but we did have an alumni who was on the cycling team who was in the London Olympics. No, not the London, the Rio Olympics. Uh, t- 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 what's 9 plus 10? Huh, let me get out my calculator here. 19. You're welcome. Favorite race competition I've entered in. Most memorable for me was the World Cup at Wyndham in 2015. I qualified 24th, which I was just happy to qualify, let alone qualifying 24th, because I was only a few places behind like Sam Hill. And I think I qualified right in front of Mick Hanna or something. And that's like the only World Cup I've really done, so it's kind of cool to see how I did. But then I ended up crashing my race run. But the cool thing about that race was the middle section, because you have a top split time and a bottom split time. If you're to take the middle section of the course out, I actually had the eighth fastest time of everybody who raced. So I was actually faster than G. Atherton in that one section, which still blows my mind. Let's see. Thunder Mountain is a fun mountain, right? Yes, it is. That's why I did a Walmart video, and they've been putting a lot of effort into their trails. Highly recommended. Cheers from Sweden. What's up? Can I make a 29 Enduro hard trail? What's a hard trail? Assuming you're meaning hardtail. Yeah, I guess. I mean, usually for like enduro bikes, you're going to be racing on some pretty rugged terrain, which you can ride on a hardtail. But usually enduro refers to racing, and I'm not sure if you'd want to race on a hardtail if you're not doing cross country. All right, scroll down to the bottom. Let's see. When was Mount Everest discovered? I don't know. Does someone want to Google that and answer? CJ Deadly, he really needs that question answered, apparently. Highest speed? I don't know. I reckon in a race course, probably 45. Downhill, you honestly don't end up going that fast because you're in tight wooded areas. So you're going fast relative to the environment and the terrain. But you don't really go that fast in downhill except in the wide open sections. And so I would say the fastest that I've ever gone is about 45, but that's undocumented. Let's see. I know I've hit 43. I just don't know if I've hit 45. Uh, let's see. Are you coming to Cali this year? If so, where are you going? I'm might. I'm actually trying to do Sea Otter this year, which is one of the reasons why I'm really trying to promote, do this whole Patreon thing. I looked it up. It's going to cost me about $1,000 to get out there, and I have somebody that will cover lodging. So if I can get out to Sea Otter, I'd definitely like to. It's super fun time. You know, not the best racing, but it's just a fun time to get out, enjoy some sun. When I lived in New Hampshire, we would still have snow on the ground at this period. So getting out to, or even in April, so getting out to Sea Otter was a nice kind of spring break. All right, scroll down a little bit more. Actually, I'm going to go to Reddit right now. If you guys don't know, I have a subreddit community where you guys are free to interact and hang out with me. I know I got a few questions there, so I'm going to go take a look at them real quick. Hold on. Cool life feed. My last one disappeared in feed. So I'll try here. You seem to have a slight lean towards red, like your helmet, Deity shirt, but I see a blue helmet in the background. What's up with that? I like to keep colors consistent. So I like really basic reds, blues, and whites and blacks and grays. Not that I don't like greens, but like I just try to keep the colors I wear consistent. Hey, what's up? From France? Hello from the USA. Let's see. I forgot to write a message. Uh, is GT a good make? Yeah, they make really good bikes. They're not my favorite per se, but you can definitely get some good GTs. I mean, look at Brooke McDonald. Kick some butt on his. Alright, I'm going to go to Facebook real quickly. I know I have some questions there too. Let's see. I'll be going back and forth through these social media sites, so the comments here are going really quickly. Let's see. Alrighty. Alright, do you have any problems with your 1x10, 1x11 setup? Is it worth it? Yes, it's definitely worth it. I have had some issues with the SRAM 1x11. It's the only 1x11 system I've tried. I've done the Ghetto 1x10 system in the past. I found SRAM to be a little finicky for some reason. Like it would work perfectly well when you'd set it up into stand, and then once you'd get it under load, sometimes it would ghost shift on you. And I couldn't pinpoint the reason. So, but I definitely recommend going 1x11. Let's see. What's up, Russia? Let's see. Have you tried Seth's? For some reason, Seth's is a really hard word for me to say, or name word combination. Yes, I have tried the Box 1 derailleur system. I really liked it. I like the simplicity of having one lever. However, I wouldn't use it for racing dual slalom. Mainly because the way you push down to go into easier gear, and then you kind of like push in to go to a harder gear, which is what you usually are doing in a dual slalom race. And I think this motion would be really hard to do accurately in a race run. Any riding vids coming up with Alex, Brian, or Seth for 2017? Yes, we are going to be at the Santos Fat Tire Festival, March 10th. Yeah, the weekend of March 10th. So if you guys are in Florida and want to come hang out with us, yeah, we'll be there. I don't know if Alex will be riding at that point since his shoulder will still be recovering, and Brian I don't think will be able to make it out, but Seth and Alex will still be there. Alex might not be riding. Hi. Do you have any tips for somebody who wants to race downhill World Cups? Yes. Okay. There's a bunch, but it is very hard to get into the World Cup scene right now because of the way it's structured. My perspective is from the US. So to race a World Cup, I think at this point you need 40 UCI points. And to get a UCI point, or to get UCI points, you have to do races that are UCI sanctioned. And there are very few of those around. So to get the 40 points you need is very difficult. But there's an easier way. You can petition. And that's the process of sending kind of your resume to USA Cycling to essentially let them know that you're interested in racing a World Cup, and they can give you a federation spot, which is what I did when I raced the World Cup. However, getting to that point is very difficult. You have to live, sleep, drink bikes. And if you're not doing that, it's very hard to get to that point. And the other thing that sucks is you have to kind of be lucky or fortunate. What I mean by that is to be able to dedicate the amount of time needed to train for downhill or World Cups, you need to have the money or opportunity to not work full time or be able to take weekends off. And so for that reason, doing World Cups is not accessible to most people, and that's really unfortunate. It costs a lot of money to get to that level. All right. How did I get into riding? Well, so my dad used to ride with me on his bike. He had one of those baby seats that go on the back of your bike, and he would put me in it, and we would go riding. And so we'd be riding on a bike path, and all of a sudden we would come up to some dude that my dad was passing, and my dad would be like, "Phil, tell him on your right." So I'd yell from back, "On your right!" And I guess because I was always around my dad, this is when we lived in California, so there's bike paths all over the place. I just grew an affinity to riding. So once I got my own bike and started riding with him, we'd go on long rides every weekend, and eventually we did a ride where we ended up riding past some dirt jumps in California. This is in Huntington Beach, California. And they were called Slater, the Dykes, depending on who you asked. And they were literally like 5 to 10 minutes from my house. So, before kindergarten, because kindergarten's usually either in you either have morning class or afternoon session. And I was afternoon session, I think. Yeah, afternoon session. So before class, I would go down there with my mom and ride dirt jumps, which was pretty cool. Definitely not something that most kids would do at that age, but I was really, really fortunate. Let's see. All right. That's not nice, dude. Don't call him a B word. I will have. Let's see. Let's see. Why did I choose the shorter travel calling and not the insurgent? That's a really good question. The reason why I did that is because I wanted a bike that I could race dual slalom with. And I could do that on the Insurgent, but the extra travel would just make it really hard to pump. So I wanted a bike that was a little bit more pumpable and flickable and a little bit lower to the ground. And that's why I chose the Calling and not the Insurgent. If I wasn't planning on doing any dual slalom races, I probably would have gone with the Insurgent. But I also liked a lot of the features that the Calling had, mainly thread bottom bracket and a few other things. How do you do a no-footer slalom race? I can't tell if this person was asking because he was at a race. So I did do a race once in collegiate where I sat down on the bike and just raced with no feet on the pedals and just kind of goofed off against someone else who was doing the same thing. And it was a lot of fun. Collegiate racing is a lot different than typical racing, a lot more relaxed, and people just have fun with it. This person asks, are you coming to ride Pacific Northwest this summer? Possibly. Noble Wheels wants me to get out there. They have hooked me up with some wheels for the Calling, which are some badass wheels, and I can't wait to get a hold of them. And they want me to come out for the race that will be happening at Whistler, so Crinkworks. But actually before that, so I might try to come out for that. Is British Columbia considered the Pacific Northwest? I feel stupid right now. But let's see. But I definitely wanted to get out to the Washington area. Last year I rode Tiger Mountain, and then we went a little bit further south in what was the name? Black Rock. We went to Black Rock, and that place, I don't get scared often when I see features at trails, but those gave me some goosebumps. Like, those features were legit. Let's see. What are your thoughts on the Diamondback hook for 750? Let me Google that real quick. I know I've seen it before. Just can't remember which particular model it is. Yeah, I would say the hook is a pretty badass bike. Let's see, it looks like it's got 1x11 drivetrain. It's got pretty much everything you need. Yeah, nothing wrong with that bike. It's if that's your first bike or second bike, you'd be very happy. Let's see. Phil, I am a huge fan. I'm riding a Trek Fuel EX9 2016 27.5, and I still can't manage to do a bunny hop nor a manual. Just wondering if you will soon come out with more. Yes, I am. One of the reasons why I'm not doing tutorials is because the only bike I have is the Tokol, and there's a few other reasons why I haven't done videos, and you'll understand soon enough. But I can't really talk about them right now. But yeah, trust me, more tutorial videos are coming. I have like a whole board of ideas that I want to do. Yeah, my hat collection over there. Let's see. Another question about what I'm studying in college, business and marketing. What are my opinions on BMX? Well, I used to race BMX. I grew up riding BMX. I think BMX is one of the best ways to develop good bike handling skills. Usually BMX bikes are made out of chromoly if you're doing freestyle, or at least steel. And so they're a little bit more durable and also cheaper. So you can learn skills and throw the bike and not really worry about doing a lot of damage to the bike, which is a good thing because usually when you're starting out, you're going to be crashing more often than not, or more often than you would otherwise when you're older. Or let me speak English again. You'd crash when you're starting out. You tend to crash more often than you do when you become a better rider. And having a bike that's a little bit more durable when you're starting out is very valuable. Let's see. Have you ever done anything involving BMX? Yes, I have. Which was a comment right above that. I just noticed. I also raced BMX for a long time. When I was it 1999? Yeah, 1999. I actually did the UCI World Championships for BMX, and I finished 8th with some pretty fast riders. I think the kid who won that race is actually Paulin Gauthier, who's one of the best. He's a Monster Energy sponsored motocross rider in France or Europe, which is kind of cool. But Phil, what are your thoughts on SRAM NX? Do you recommend? So the NX is what I have right now on the Raleigh, it's pretty good. Like it's better than a system where you don't have. It's better than a front derailleur system. So in that regard, it's awesome, and it's cheap and it's accessible. However, it's definitely not the quality that you would get with some of the higher grade components. So if you're on a budget, go with it. If you have a little bit more money to spend, I would go with the GX system. Let's see. Alan asked, "What happened to the Trek session?" So I gave it back to my sponsor. So the deal I had was I was sponsored by a bike shop who the owner was a good friend of mine, and they had like 12 bike shops in the New York City metro area. So they did a high volume, and their sons raced downhill and still do. And so I came on the team as essentially a mentor for them, and they would provide me with 2 bikes for the year. That was my Trek Session and Trek Remedy. This year, I'm going off and doing my own thing. I won't be racing as much, and for that reason, I'm not on the team. So my agreement was they would loan me the bikes for the year, and then at the end of the year, I'd give them back. And if I continued riding for them, I'd get 2 new bikes. So I'm not riding for them anymore, so I don't have those bikes anymore. Why is your Snapchat not open? I can't send you snap. The reason why I did that is because I was getting way too many Snapchats, and I don't know if it's just an Android thing, but my phone was becoming super super buggy, and I couldn't keep up with all of the Snapchats. I was getting them like at all times of the night, so I had to turn that feature off. Sorry, man. Do I live in New Hampshire and study in North Carolina, or am I misunderstanding? Nope, you're spot on. That's exactly what's happening, and I might be spending quite a bit of time in Vermont this year in the Burlington area because Haley just got a job at UVM, which is the University of Vermont. So, good chance if you're in that area that you'll see me there. Is this live? Yes, it is, Tommy Vivo. What do I think about the RockShox Shari? I can't answer that question. I've never used it. So, I don't know. Maybe some of you guys can answer that question for Lucas. I, I've heard pretty good things about it, but personally, I can't answer that question. Jacob 395, how old are you? 26. Riley Plummer, how to backflip a full suspension bike. Yeah, you just like go off a jump and you lean backwards and yeah, it just happens. Nah. Let's see. Dr. Randy, would I ever consider riding MX, which stands for motocross? I've ridden dirt bikes before and I ride them like a bike, so it's really difficult for me because you can't ride a dirt bike like a regular bike. They're heavier. You need to use the throttle. So I also like got whiskey throttle. So I try to pull up on the bars, and me and dirt bikes don't really work out. However, I'm kind of excited about e-bikes for just recreational use, not on like trails or anything. But if I had like a semi motocross trail or like pit bike course in my yard, I think an e-bike could be fun in that situation, but I don't know. Like that's, but no. The other thing about motocross is I can't get used to the pegs. So I've been riding bikes for so long that I'm used to having my feet kind of staggered like this. In motocross, your feet are like parallel. So yeah, it just doesn't feel right. Let's see. Uh, Is there a technique to keep your feet on the pedals when doing big drops? Or are your feet dumb? Your feet might be dumb. No, let's see. My left one seems to lose contact. Um, which, so, I, your left or right really doesn't do me any good. I'd have to know if it's the front or back. Um, I think a lot of people, when they try to do drops, they like end up like trying to jump, and you're not really trying to jump when you're doing a drop. You're just kind of keeping your weight on your bottom bracket through your pedals, and so your front end's nice and light and just kind of gliding off. So if you're trying to jump off a drop, you might be trying too hard. Are you and Seth going to do more videos? Yes, we are. Thanks for such a long video. My office days. Let me speak English again. Well, yeah, you're welcome, Philippe. I'm assuming you're from France, since it's spelled a French way, or maybe you're from Quebec. Do you make more pump track restoration videos? I have what you see, but I could. I haven't. I didn't ride that much. I didn't ride that pump track much this year, so I didn't do a whole lot of maintaining. But yeah, let's see. Can I please add you on Snapchat? Please add me back. I only add people I know, so sorry, dude. Let's see. What's your favorite ride? What made it so much fun? People or trail? I feel like every ride I do with friends is like the next best ride, because it's always an experience. Like something goes wrong, like either like someone breaks a chain or something stupid, and you have to figure out how to fix it, or you're just having a good time. So I can't pick one favorite ride. I'm trying to think. Can I? Ah, but let's see. Uh, t- 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 let's see. Is it worth upgrading to a rear suspension? Depending on what you're going to be doing. If you have the money and you have $1,500 or more, like for a new bike, then yes. If you're going used, I would still recommend spending about $1,000. Justin asks, will I be doing Nats at Snowshoe, West Virginia this year? Probably not, but maybe. We'll see. I'm more inclined to do it for a dual slalom than I am downhill, to be honest. Let's see. Let me go back to this chat right here. I'm going to have to... Alright. Let me scroll down again. Let's see. What is your dream bike? Probably the Calling that I'm going to be building up. But my next dream bike would, if I'm going for like a long travel enduro bike, there's two of them. The Evil Reckoning or the Rocky Mountain Slayer. And I'd really like to try it with 26 plus wheels. But, you know, 27's fine too. Let's see. Did you make a video tutorial for downhill? No, I have not. Mainly because it's a very limited audience, but I'm definitely going to be making a lot of different videos this year, so expect that. Let's see. Are you going to the Fat Tire Festival with Seth and Alex? Yes, we are. Or yes, I am. Yes, we are. Yeah, so that will be March 10th. I'll be down there, and I'm really excited. It might be the big debut of the Evil, so that will be exciting. How do I get my channel noticed? Make good content, post frequently, and just keep going with it. You also may want to try to like tackle some popular topics that might get you traffic from the search results. That's the best way. It's getting harder and harder. There's so many channels out these days, and everyone's putting out such good content. Thanks, Hunter. Is this considered a goatee? I've always just considered this a mustache, but I guess since it goes down, it's kind of a goatee. Walking through a store, what's your favorite beers? I like Yingling. They're pretty accessible, easy. I'm definitely not into like IPAs or anything. I wouldn't say that's my favorite beer, but like that's usually what you can find at most places around on the East Coast. As far as my favorite beer, I one that sticks out to me is the Oscar Oscar Blues makes the Mexican lager, which what was it? The Burrito. I thought that was pretty good, but I don't drink that much, so definitely not a beer connoisseur or snob. MTB Fun. Is it worth getting hydraulics if I have to get a new shifter? I assume you're talking about brakes, and definitely hydraulic brakes makes a huge difference. Cable disc brakes don't work that well. Uh, any favorite places to ride in VT, which is Vermont? You know what? I've done a lot more trail riding down in North Carolina than I have in the New England area. But apparently, Middlebury, Vermont is supposed to have some really cool stuff, and same with Stowe. So, those are definitely on the bucket list this summer. I'm going to go back to Reddit real quickly. If you guys don't know, have a Reddit community. Got some awesome people there posting, contributing, hanging out with me. Let's see if anything news going on over here. Not right now. What about Facebook? All right. Let's see. Yes, Riley, I see your comments. You don't have to post in all caps, please. There's a spider behind me. I'm not too worried. It might bite. Let's see. Let's see. The Christmas lights are actually for just kind of ambient lighting in the room. The main light up there that you can't see kind of sucks. I also have another light right here, but the lighting in this room is terrible. But that's kind of on par with every dormitory. Hi, Haley. Panda or bunny? Well, I mean, it's illegal to own a bunny, or it's illegal to own a panda in the U.S., so I'd have to go with bunny. But if I could own any animal I'd want, I'd go with a panda. So here's a fun fact about the bear you see in all my videos. When I was little, for first grade, I had to take a stuffed bear home with me and talk about the experience, like, what me and the bear did. And it was kind of stupid, but my sister and I went to the dirt jumps and we put the bear in a jump and I jumped over it. And so when you see the videos where I have like a graphic of me jumping over a bear, it's kind of a tribute to that. And also, when I was really little, I always liked panda bears for some reason. So it's just kind of meshing those two things together. Let's see. Do I think Shimano Di2 is good? I don't know much about it. I think that's electronic shifter stuff. And if it is, I've used it before, just kind of pedaling around a parking lot, and it worked really well. Even it's the only like 2x system or 2x drivetrain system that I can legitimately say I liked. What is my favorite bike of all time? One of my favorites was the Iron Horse Sunday, which I had in like 2008. I actually won it because I won a series. And it was a bike that was before its time. And to this day, even though the bike was originally released in like 2006, I want to say, it was a fairly modern bike, and even is fairly modern for this time. Let's see. Someone asked, will I ever start vlogging? It's not out of consideration. It's just a lot of time that I don't have right now. And honestly, my life is not that interesting to vlog, especially every day. I'm not Casey Neistat. That dude's something else. Like, his videos are next level. Like, I don't know how he was able to make pretty much every day like the most interesting thing ever. How should I go about racing bikes long term if I'm sponsored? I Well, this is the second question I'm answering from you, David, I think. So being sponsored is getting a good sponsorship is much more difficult than most people realize. Let's see. How The idea behind sponsorship is a company, bike shop, or whoever is supporting you. They will be either giving you a discount, especially when you're starting out, some products for free if you're pretty damn good, and once you're into big leagues, you're getting paid. I have never gotten paid. I've gotten free stuff. And so the idea from the company's perspective is that they're going to provide you with something, whether it's a discount or a product, and you're going to provide them with views or essentially advertisement. So let's look at, and the unfortunate thing, especially with racing goes, if you're not the best, no one really knows who you are. Like, for example, everyone knows who Aaron Gwynn is because he won most downhill races. Same with Danny Hart. But if you're placing like even fourth or fifth, unless you're really into the sport, no one really knows who you are. Well, on the World Cup level, that's a little bit different. But it's really difficult to make an impact through racing. Let's see. I think I'm to do a BMX series. Well, I need a BMX bike first, which could happen pretty soon. I've been thinking about buying a BMX bike, but right now I don't have a whole lot of money to be able to justify just going out and buying a BMX bike. I try to be pretty frugal with where I'm spending my money, but if you want to help out, you can support me on Patreon and get me a little bit closer. But let's see. I want to do a BMX series. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Did you know Korea? I assume you're talking about Korean, and no, I do not know how to speak Korean. Apparently, it's a pretty logical language to read from what I've seen through the internet. Let's see. Is an e-bike more fun than a regular bike? I don't know. I really haven't used it or used one. I've kind of pedaled around in the parking lot, and I thought they were really fun, but I don't think anything will replace a regular bike. I do think they have their place, but I don't know what that is yet. Jack D. Yeah, Casey stopped vlogging. I know. That sucks, but that's 10 minutes of my day that I have free to do other things now. But every once in a while he'll still put out a video, so. Who disliked this live stream? I did. Nah. Let's see. Can I do a giveaway soon? I've thought about it, and then after I listened to the podcast with Seth, I'm definitely reconsidering ever doing a giveaway just because of how angry the fans got at him. So I I'd like to, but I just don't want to cause like any animosity. Let's see. Make an update on my Evil. I will. I actually might live stream the build process if I can. So that should be pretty exciting. Hey Phil, how's your business degree coming along? Can't wait for the day you own a bike park. So here's a fun fact. One of the things I would like to do, this is in like the 20-year plan, or I don't know, it's pretty far out, is I'd like to open up my own bike park. I'm not exactly sure what that entails, like what kind of bike park. I don't necessarily want it to be a mountain. I like what places like Ray's Mountain Bike Park does, and unique places like that. And I think there's something more to that. So down the line, I would like to do that. I'd almost like to take a bike park, Ray's Mountain Bike Park, and kind of fuse it with what Camp Woodward is doing and make this one really awesome place. But that's a stretch goal. Let's see. Will I be doing any videos on trail building how to? Yeah, I have been getting enough requests that I think I will start doing some. They are a little bit difficult because usually it takes a few days to build features, and so it would require a few days of filming, and you constantly have to stop and start filming. So it makes things very complicated to film and build at the same time. I'd like to. Let's see, my dream sponsor. I think everyone's dream sponsor is Red Bull. Whether you like to drink or not, their helmets look badass. Ice cream trucker Phil, you have the best fans. Yes, I do. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for joining me, by the way. This has been huge. One of the reasons why I'm doing this live stream is kind of to celebrate the launch of my Patreon page, which is this guy right here. And what Patreon will allow me to do is have my fans help support the creation of even better content. Because currently, I'm trying to think of, go to Patreon. I have it all laid out, explained what the details are there. But there are so many things I'd love to be able to do. I just don't have the financial resources. And along with that, a lot of times your cameras break, so you're constantly trying to make sure that you're upgrading or replacing broken parts of your camera, especially with GoPro stuff. That stuff breaks all the time. So that's one of the reasons why I'm watching the Patreon page, is so I can give you guys better content. And there's a few reward levels I think you'll like to check out. But the videos aren't going anywhere. It will still be, I'll still be focusing on YouTube first. All right, let's see. Hell yeah, live streaming the build would be awesome. All right, glad you guys like that idea. Let's see. Woot woot, Ray's is right near me. Ah, lucky duck. I wish I was near it. Alright, Callum asks, how are you doing? What was your day like? My day is great. I'm talking with you guys. So I go to school. One of my classes got canceled, which usually starts at 1 o'clock, so I was able to do this live stream. But yeah, I have a pretty relaxed semester this year, which is good, though it does pick up here and there. But yeah, my day was really good. Thanks for asking. Campground Brewery in Vermont. Check out Kingdom Trails. You know what? I'm a little hesitant to go to Kingdom because I think for cross-country riders, Kingdom is the ultimate place to go. But I think for the kind of riding I do, I'm not sure if it's exactly my style. I think it's definitely a really cool place, and I want to check it out at some point. But it's not my favorite kind of riding, if that makes any sense. Let's see. Are you ever coming out to Denver? If you ever need a group to ride with? Well, thanks for the invite, dude. Let's see. Is mayonnaise an instrument? I'm sure someone can make a pretty sweet beat with mayonnaise. Interesting question. Let's see. What is the best physique for cycling, particularly XC racing? I'm not exactly sure what I think you're asking what is the best kind of exercise, because that's what physique means in French. And I mean, so for cross country racing, you need a. I'm not a cross country racer, full disclosure, but you need to do a lot of base hours to get your base fitness. Then from there are what was it? There's like three stages. You go through like lactic acid training, power training, and there's a few other things which I don't really do much of, and I don't have much of insight on that. However, there are plenty of resources on the internet, and most super competitive XC racers these days have coaches that help them. How old am I? I am 26. Thanks, guys, for answering that. Phil, have you thought about? Yes, but they're staying. So. I get asked like to shave this all the time, and some people love it, some people hate it. I'm not gonna be shaving it. If you don't like it, that's cool with me. Like, it doesn't really bother me. Like, I've definitely seen like facial hair on other people. I'm like, it kind of looks weird. But then like once you get to know them for a while, it just becomes who they are. And so at this point, if you don't like it, oh well. I'm not really bothered. Alpine Star, what do I think of the guys at GMBN? They make really helpful videos. Like, bar none, they somehow are able to put out a crap ton of videos. They've gotten to the point where they don't interest me that much, so I don't watch them all the time. But I think they're a great resource, and what they're doing is awesome. What do you look like without the handlebars? I look like a 12-year-old child. If you go back to the pump track restoration videos, you will see a few videos of me without this, and it just looks off. If I did get rid of this, I would go with a beard or some sort of facial hair, but me without facial hair, it's just weird these days. PS4, Xbox One. I don't game, so, but I am kind of interested in the new Nintendo Switch console. I'm a casual gamer if I game, so I don't know. That's my kind of thing. Let's see. Would you ride another Trek Remedy? I've ridden the new Trek Remedy around. One of the reasons why I did not go with it, besides the fact that I'm not, I don't have that agreement with that sponsor anymore. The bike shop, not Trek, that is I didn't like the fact that they have that like knock block thing where you can't turn your handlebars all the way around. Not that I'm doing tail whips or bar spins or anything, but when I do whips, I generally tweak my handlebars quite a bit, and it's just kind of weird. I really didn't like that. Phil, are you enjoying the mild winter in North Carolina? Heck yeah, I am. It's been insane. So where I'm at in North Carolina is usually pretty comparable climate-wise to New England, but a little bit more temperate, so like it'll warm up more often, but usually like it'll get just as cold as it does in New England. However, this year it's been super nice. We've only had one or two really cold days, and other than that, in a few snowstorms, it's been absolutely beautiful. Like today, I think it's like 70 degrees out already. It's awesome. Let's see. Cheesy taters, what do you suggest for an itchy butthole? I have no help there, dude. Sorry. Let's see. I'm not a mountain biker, and when I'm not in the mood. Sorry. I am a mountain biker. I'm dyslexic, apparently. I am a mountain biker, and when I'm not in the mood to ride, I always watch your videos and immediately ride. So thanks. You're welcome. I'm glad that they've had that effect. So really appreciate that. What was my first job? Did I ever work in a bike shop? So I worked in the culinary industry for a while, and I did that for quite some time. And working in the food service industry is very hard. I'm not gonna say it's the hardest work ever, but the hours kind of suck, so it's hard to ride your bike. And my first job was working at a dining commons at a college. I can't remember how old I was, but it was a lot of fun. I gained a lot of valuable like insight to just like customer service, like interacting with the customer, and overall it was a really good experience, even though it might not have been super fun. And the second question was, have I ever worked in a bike shop? I did for like a few weeks, and I actually didn't like the bike shop I worked in, and so I didn't really work there much longer than that. But I think at the right bike shop, I would definitely enjoy myself. I live in the Alps in France. Have I ever ridden in France? Yes, I have. I haven't ridden mountain bikes in France, but I used to live in France. I used to live in Toulouse, actually. Well, specifically Blagnac, which is suburbs. But I only rode BMX at the time, so I never got a chance to ride mountain biking or mountain bikes in France. With that being said, I did snowboard in the Pyrenees, which was sweet. But I would like to get back to France and see what they have for mountain biking because it looks beautiful. Let's see. Um, I saw another question. Have I ever biked across America? No, I have not. That's a lot of riding. Yo, Phil, any tricks you'd like to learn? Yeah, bar spins. A lot of people can do them like nothing, and something about having a bar spinning in front of me, plus taking my hands off the bars, just scares the living crap out of me. So that's a trick that's been escaping me for a while. And then I would like to learn tail whips, which along the same lines. I'm not really good with spinning things. Hopefully that answers your question. Let's go back to Reddit real quickly and see if there's anything else going on there. I got a comment from, where's my thing about right here? Got a comment on Reddit. That's my subreddit there. Come hang out with me. How did I get into biking? I mentioned it a little bit. It was out on, like, well, my dad put a bike seat on the bike when I was young, like too young to be riding, and we used to go out on bike paths all the time. So that really kind of ingrained me loving bikes from a young age. And then once I was old enough to ride my own bike, well, it just kind of took off naturally. Then I just kind of stumbled on some dirt jumps and just got really lucky from there. Here's another one from Reddit. I'm going to continue here. Best biking memory, like the kind of moment that you'll remember forever. Let's see. Okay, that's a good one. There's probably a few that I'm not thinking of, but one of them was in 2014 when they had the Collegiate National Championships at Beach Mountain Resort, which is not like right behind me. Like literally, I could ride my bike there. And that mountain was hosting the Collegiate Nationals. The pretty much the whole school, okay, that's an exaggeration, but a lot of the school came out to watch the race and support me as well as the rest of the team while we were competing. And that's also the year that I took off from racing. And I ended up going on to winning that race. And in the middle of my race run, there's like a jump, and I boosted it and just like did this sweet tabletop. And I have probably one of my favorite photo memories of me riding, because like a bunch of my teammates are in the crowd, and like there's like a guy dressed up as a piece of bacon. You have someone with a sign saying "Phil to Thrill," and it was just a really good memory for me. And I've never experienced having so many people at a race supporting me. It was really humbling. It was awesome. And then I mean obviously I won the race, and that made it even better. But just the experience there was a great weekend. All right, scroll down. Let's see. This isn't very good English, but I'm going to read it anyway. Are worried that sitting on bike so much will give you problems with your male reproductive parts. No, I'm not worried because I like to stand up when I ride when I go downhill. So, not worried about that at all. Trent asked, I'm newish to mountain biking and think I fractured my wrist this morning. I am home. What's your worst injury and how do you avoid them? I answered the question about my worst injury, which was a broken collarbone and broke my hand twice, which is not that bad, honestly. However, how to avoid crashing or getting injured. I took gymnastics when I was little, and I also had a trampoline growing up. And I think having good body awareness, like one of the things I learned through jumping on a trampoline is like jumping on my back, then just getting back up and just like doing flips and knowing where I was in the air at all time. That like when something goes wrong on a bike, I can ditch the bike and know where I'm at all times. Also, since I grew up with a BMX bike and BMX bikes are more durable, I wasn't afraid to just ditch my bike when stuff was going wrong. I think one of the biggest issues or one of the biggest problems people have is ditching the bike when they're about to crash and they just hold on until they're hitting the ground, and at that point it's too late. Your head's impacting the ground or something. Let's see. Can you convert Schrader tire and rim to tubeless? Yeah, well, I think you could. Now, hear me out. There's a way to do ghetto tubeless. Let's say you have a 26 or 27-inch wheel. You would take a 20-inch tube and put it, like stretch it around the rim. And so you can obviously get Schrader valve tubes. And so you could potentially do that, and then you would slice down the middle of the tire, so you'd have overhanging on the side of the rims, but it would still be like really tight on the rim. You'd put the tire on, and you'd have a lot of extra flap that you'd eventually cut off. But I think from there you could put the stand sealant in, and then pump it up as a tubeless setup. But I've never seen tubeless done with a Schrader valve, so if someone's done that before, please let me know. Do I have a cold? I'm getting over a cold. Yes, I am. Actually, got some Alka-Seltzer stuff right here. So my nose is a little stuffy. Sorry if my voice sounds weird, even though it sounds weird all the time. Have I ever gotten a bike stolen? No, I have not. Luckily, I have not. I'm pretty careful about my bikes. So I don't like to leave them out without locking them up. And when I leave them unattended, even when locked up, I try to make sure they're in a place where it's not sketchy. But otherwise, I always bring my bike into someplace safe. Oh, what does my shirt say? My shirt says "Dream Big, Skills Fulfill." It's one of the shirts I launched on Teespring a while ago. Actually, you can pick one up on Teespring. If you guys can see that, if someone wants to add a link to that somewhere, that'd be cool. Yeah, they're for sale if you guys want. Let's see, I converted Schrader to tubeless like you would any other valve types. Oh, so I guess they have Schrader tubeless valves. I've never really looked into it, but thanks for the feedback, Kevin. What bike is best for enduro races? You mean enduro? I see. Depends. American enduros are typically a little bit more endurance oriented compared to a lot of the West Coast, or not West Coast, the European enduros, which are almost downhill races at that point. So in the US, you want a bike anywhere from 140 to like, I would say 160 millimeters of travel, maybe a little bit more. If you're in Europe, you're probably going to want around like 160 to like 180. You want a legit bike out there. Does your plus hardtail still... Is my plus size hardtail still going? Yeah, I'm still using it. I love it. I'm going to be upgrading some of the parts in the near future. But yeah, I love it. It's a lot of fun. Philippe adds that there's a kit for the Schrader valve. Alright, thanks, dude. S. Don't have any more information on this person. S. Are clipless pedals worth it? Depends what you want to do. To me, the goal with riding is to have fun. And I'm not worried about winning a just typical bike ride, so I will ride flat pedals anytime. However, if you're looking to be more efficient, clipless pedals are definitely more efficient. So if your goal is to ride longer, definitely go with clipless pedals. If you want to get more power down when you're racing dual slalom or something, yeah, definitely go clipless. But I've been racing with downhill or not downhill pedals, flat pedals for a while, and you just get used to it. You even see Sam Hill racing enduro with flat pedals, and he's crushing it. So I think the whole clipless flat pedal debate is kind of like, just pick what you like and stick with it. Get some chat. Let's see. All right. I'm gonna open the chat real quick. Let's see. Where did this dude go? Hey, Philip, I'm gonna make you a moderator. If you just wanna moderate the comments real quick, make sure if anything's too repetitive or something, not repetitive, but like definitely get rid of anything that's offensive. Let's see. What? Are you? Stand Up asked if I'm still into downhill racing. I am, but I'm not going to be racing this year. Well, it won't be my primary focus if I do. Let's see. Just chimed in. Are you planning on any big vacations or rides this year? If so, where? I haven't had anything planned. I might be able to go out to Whistler at some point before the summer's over, which would be really awesome. There's so much on the East Coast that I haven't explored yet, and I don't even have the time to explore. I'm probably going to be staying around the East Coast quite a bit, but I will be going to Santos early March. I would really like to watch this whole thing. Phil, you have a unique way of speaking. Is there anything you could tell us about that? Oh, yeah, so I grew up with a speech impediment, and then so I always had trouble saying my R's in words that, it's not even just R's. There are words that I still have trouble saying. I mentioned earlier that Seth's is a really hard thing for me to say. So there are certain things that I have trouble saying. Then I also lived in France for 4.5 years, and that was when I was 9 until 14. And when I lived in France, I spoke French fluently. So I think that might have stunted a little bit my speech development. And when I came back to the US, I got picked on quite a bit for the way I spoke, and now I try to think before I say anything, which is one of the reasons why I have a weird speech pattern as well. So it's just a combination of a few things that just compounded, but definitely doing YouTube videos has made me more aware of how I speak, and hopefully has made it better, and practice makes perfect, right? All right, but no, it's definitely not a sensitive subject. What bike mod? Hey, what's up, 3-digit IQ? So I'm just gonna give him a quick shout out because he was one of the first dudes who really helped recognize me on YouTube and help me out. So what's up, 3-digit? Alright, what bike mod or feature do you wish existed that doesn't? This would be kind of dangerous, but I would like to see wireless brakes almost be a thing. I don't know if they would be like, assuming they're 100% reliable. I would like to see wireless brakes because I don't like brake cables. They just get in the way and they look ugly. So otherwise, I want to. I mean, this does exist, but I would like to see gearboxes take off, or just any system that gets rid of derailleurs, which to me is one of the most primitive pieces on a bike. All right, I'm gonna scroll down a little bit more. Let's see. Phil, are the trails at your college open to the public? I don't think, technically they're not. I don't believe so. So I can't tell you to come ride them, but if you come ride them, there's not going to be many people that are going to stop you. But are they worth riding? I mean, if you make a trip out of it and you ride like Rocky Knob and then come ride them, yeah, they're going to be a lot of fun. Let's see. It says I can ask you. Oh God. Well, we're gonna go read this question anyway. It says I can ask you anything. Have you ever shaved your balls? And did you notice a difference in the performance afterwards? No, I did not notice a performance increase or anything. All right. Next question. Hey Phil, what do you think of the box one derailleur? I mentioned it earlier. The shifting, awesome. The lever, I really liked that. Was one thing. I did find it weird to get used to like push in to go for a harder gear. But other than that, like it worked out. It works pretty well. I think for the price, you can definitely get better. But like Seth had mentioned in his review, they're a new company getting into it. They don't have the power behind their products, or I don't know what the term is. They don't have the leverage like Shimano does. Like when you're a big company and you're selling a lot of one product, you can make the profit margin much smaller and still make money, versus a small company, they'll have to charge a lot more to be able to make any money, if that makes any sense. It's more efficient to make things in mass production. Alright, any vids riding Rocky Knob? Not really. It's actually, I've Rocky Knob, like I have a love-hate relationship with that place. It's not my favorite trail system. It's fun and it's definitely good for the area, and but my issue is it's a lot of climbing for like 2 minutes of descent, it feels like. But there are some new trails up there supposedly opening this spring that I'm excited to ride. Let's see. How are my wheelies going? I mentioned this earlier. They still suck. I'm sorry. I need to fix that. Let's see. How do I feel about pivot bikes? Have I ridden? I've kind of ridden one, so I don't have a huge opinion on them. They're not my favorite looking bikes, and I kind of judge a lot by how a bike looks aesthetically, as dumb as that is. But they make really good bikes. Have you ever thought about a mullet? Think about, well, yeah, I can kind of make it look like I have a mullet by doing this. Like my hair grows really long back here quickly. But yeah, I don't know if a mullet's my thing. Economies of scale, yeah, that's the word, one of the terms I was looking for, which is stupid because it's one of the many terms we were covering in macroeconomics a while ago. Stand Up asked, could you do more videos with the Raleigh Toco 3? Yep, there are more coming, don't worry. How how many times a week do you ride? It really depends. Because if I don't ride, sometimes I'll go build or something. And if it's raining, sometimes I don't feel like riding. So it really depends on the how I'm feeling. Let's see. L apostrophe asked, "Have I ever been to Australia? No, Austria. Sorry, not Australia. I've never been to Austria, so I'd like to. I mean, that whole area is very pretty. Let's see. Do I want to have children later in life? I don't, dude. I don't even know. I mean, the idea is good. I'm just far away from the situation from having kids, so I don't even think about it. Uh, Boostmaster J asks, why haven't upside down forks taken off like they have in motocross? There's a really good YouTube channel, Verosprung, who actually covers this in a little bit. And I think one of the main issues is that you can't make a inverted fork, as they're referred to, as stiff as you can like a regular non-inverted fork. Mainly because motocross, you have a motor. I'm kind of assuming here in motocross, like the weight doesn't like make as big of a difference since you have like a motor to kind of like overpower the weight gain. That's my assumption. I don't honestly know. Let's see. Let's see. Mark Meyer, I hate you. Oh, I'm sorry. You don't have to watch the stream. Let's see. What's the most money a guy should spend on a great bike? I mean, obviously, if you spent $1 million on a bike, that's probably too much. Spend as much as you need to get the bike that's going to make you happy. So, even if that means I would spend a little bit more on a bike if to have the bike have a feature that will make my life easier. That was not good English. There are just certain features that I'll pay money for because it will make my life simpler and make my experience on the trail more enjoyable. Let's see. What? Man, I've had somehow I'm always like seeing your comments. I'm gonna skip yours. Let's see. I know the brand Vennies? No, I don't. What's up, Red Ball channel in Greece? Let's see. Hey Phil, if you are, I don't quite, I don't know where you're talking about, so I can't quite answer that question. Opinions of bike directs. It's kind of a sensitive issue. I Bikes Direct, which is a really interesting website that has some sketchy bikes, but they also have like some of the motobikons are pretty alright. I would consider getting them. They're definitely, it's hit or miss. There's a lot of crap on Bikes Direct, and especially at the low end. So I would stay away from a lot of the low end bikes, but some of the higher end bikes on the website are actually pretty good value. What do I find to be the most frustrating part about cycling? Egos. I don't like that some people just have like these egos, like especially when you go to a bike park, people think that because they're good on a bike that entitles them to be kind of a jerk, and it's kind of lame because like we're just riding bikes, we're all having fun. So to me, that's one of the most frustrating parts. have you ever had your confidence knocked or scared yourself? Yeah, I have gotten my confidence knocked down. Um, After broken bones, definitely hard to recover from that. And then there's definitely been some situations where this year my confidence wasn't like at the highest when I went into racing as it has in the past. Just it's you just have to take baby steps and just have fun with it. Uh, d- 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 um, let's see. I'm going to scroll back down to the bottom because I'm kind of. Did you have a race mechanic when you were racing? No, I didn't. No, I was pretty much my own mechanic, which made things difficult because once you're done with practice, well, chances are something's wrong with your bike, so you have to spend time make you know working on your bike and making sure it's performing well instead of relaxing for the race. So I did have help at times from people. I didn't do 100% my own work, but most of the time I was doing my own work. And a lot of times, since I didn't have a whole lot of money, that meant like bending rims back just so I could use them. All right, guys. I'm gonna cut this stream off at 3 o'clock, so we did about 10 more minutes. Let's see. If you're riding with someone not as fast as you, does it make you feel like you can't go as fast as you want? No, not really. I don't mind going slow on some rides and just kind of hanging out and having fun. I'm definitely going to go fast in some sections and probably wait for him at the next intersection. But no, I don't mind riding with people who are slower than me within reason. Now, if I have to, I haven't ridden with anyone like that's really holding me back that much. So that's kind of an interesting question. Hi Phil, would you ever come to New Zealand? Yeah, I would love to. New Zealand looks awesome, and they have some pretty good mountain biking as far as I know, and mountain bikers. Let's see. Let's see. What do you think of carbon handlebars? After using them for a while, they don't scare me as much as they used to. The idea of carbon bars really scared me, but now they don't at all. I've been riding carbon bars for the past 3, 4 years. Let's go 3. And I've never had any issues with them. You definitely have to be a little bit more cautious about when you're tightening the clamp bolts because there is a torque value, and if you over torque it, you could crack the carbon and crack your bars, which obviously you don't want to do. Uh, da, da, da. Do I ride road? No, not really. I have here and there, but it's not my favorite thing. It's kind of it bores me a little bit. But every once in a while, like on a beautiful day, a road ride's nice. But currently, I don't have a road bike. Let's see. Let's see. How do you get a really good bike if you're 14 and dirt poor? So I wasn't. I was fortunate enough that I was never in this situation, and so it's hard for me to give you the best advice. But now, first off, see if you can work out something out with your parents. If your parents are cool with it, like tell them the value of what a bike will do for you. It's good exercise. It gives you something to do. You'll be part of a community. There's a lot of benefits that you'll derive from getting a mountain bike. However, if you don't have that option, start doing just general labor. Ask if you can rake your neighbor's leaves and just like things like that, like general yard work. Especially when you're young, and yeah, especially when you're young, a lot of older people are more inclined to help you out and give you money for that kind of stuff. When you're old like me, people will just be like, "Huh? No." All right, let's go down a little bit more. Let's see. Let's see. I my question is about if I'm doing a collab with Seth, and I mentioned it. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing another collab with Seth in the near future, probably at Santos. Let's see. What was my first ever mountain bike? Kona Stinky Supreme. Well, I guess technically my first own bike was a mountain bike. I had a 20-inch Schwinn with shifters, but it wasn't like a good mountain bike. Josh Taylor asked, "Do you feel like our trails here in North Carolina are finally getting the recognition you deserve?" I feel like the East Coast has so much trails to offer. I'm not sure if I mean the Nashville area is definitely getting really popular for mountain biking, and I think it's definitely getting the recognition it deserves now. I I had heard of the Asheville scene for a while, so people know about it. I just think it's starting to catch off now. So let's see. All right, go down a little bit more. Phil, have you ever cracked a frame? Yes, I have cracked almost every single bike I've owned. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but the purple Trek Remedy I had, I cracked that. I cracked chainstay. The year before that, I had the same model Trek Remedy. It was just a different color. I cracked that multiple times in various areas. The Trek session I was on, I cracked that through crashing. The session before that, I also cracked. So yeah, I've cracked a lot of frames, and in fact, I've actually snapped a frame. This is when I was like 7 years old, and that's a not a PK ripper, that's a mini ripper. I actually snapped that clean in half. So that was the first bike I snapped, but before that, I had cracked a few frames to be honest. I just got a comment on Reddit. Let's check this out. Regarding that crazy ride with mongoose that broke down during the descent, what went through your head when you decided to basically no brakes, loose handlebars, and a leaking fork? Honestly, I don't know what was going through my head. He's referring to the Huffy video, not the mongoose, but I honestly at that point I just wanted to be done. Like at some point I just got going so fast that the only option I had was either to keep going or to crash. So I just went with it. I was afraid that I was going to snap the handlebars when I landed one of those jumps, because some of those jumps were 30 feet. They're big jumps, and if that happened on that, it wouldn't be a pretty day. All right, have a few more minutes left. What other comments do we have? Let's see. How are my wheelies coming along? I mentioned that my wheelies suck. Still, they're better, but they still suck. Not good enough where I'm going to make a tutorial on them soon. But it's something I'm practicing, not as much as I'd like to though. So yeah, they'll be coming. Let's see. Yeah, I think I will definitely get a mod for my next stream. A lot of comments here, but I've never done this before. So let's see. Not a related question. It's funny. I just noticed that now, or what? Like when you see yourself in the mirror, like things look a lot different than when you look at yourself like through a non-mirror perspective, if that makes any sense. And I'm noticing now that I'm looking at myself that like one of the sides is a little bit more in than the other side. So it's not on purpose. It's like when I look at myself in the mirror, it looks even, and then I see myself from a different perspective, and it's not. It's like, ooh. So we'll try to fix that. Let's see. Let's keep going down. Ever think about live streaming a race? That'd be really hard because the quality would suck, and you can't really do that from a GoPro. And one of the things that UCI did recently was like they banned GoPros from a lot of races, or the rules kept changing. So you'd be at a race, and at one race they would let you wear a GoPro, and at the next race you couldn't have a GoPro on you. So that would definitely make things complicated, but just the logistics about trying to live stream a race would be really more complicated than just taking out your phone and like if I were to live stream this like the quality would look ugly, really bad, and you wouldn't want to watch it. Let's see. So one of the questions I get asked quite a bit, and I just got asked here, is how difficult would it be to transform the Walmart bike into a reasonable mountain bike? And I've actually put some thought into this. This is actually going to be one of the last questions I take. It would be very hard. Now, the reason for this is you would want at least mechanical disc brakes. So to do that, I don't think that fork on that bike had mechanical disc brakes, or it had mounts for disc brakes. So you have to replace the fork. Most forks these days are tapered, though you can still find some straight steer tubes. So that wouldn't be a huge issue, but you would also need new wheels for that bike because that bike used rim brakes. So by the time you replace the parts that you needed, you might as well just buy a new bike. I've thought about doing a video about like supercharging that bike as best as possible and then testing it out, which is something I might try in the future. But right now, I don't know if that's going to happen. Let's see. All right, we're going to take two more questions. Let's see. Let's see. All right, two more questions I haven't been asked before because a lot of questions are starting to get a little bit repetitive here. Okay, 3-digit IQ asked, what bike slash tool or what bike tool do I love and use the most? I don't know if this is love and used the most, but one of my favorites is I have like this 5 Newton meter Ritchie torque wrench thing that takes like Allen key bits, and it's super helpful for bikes that have torque values around a 5 Newton meter value. So usually stems and those kind of things, especially with carbon, you want to be super careful about not over torquing things. All right, this will be the last question, guys. Let's see. What do you think the future of mountain biking will look like? Well, mountain biking is not going to exist because we're all going to be on hovercrafts, right? I don't know. That's a good question. I think mountain biking is finally starting to hit mainstream. It was a while ago, but I think mountain biking is starting to be accepted by towns and cities as like a recognized activity. So they're dedicating more land. At the same time, you're also having like environmental conservation like groups that and like hiking groups that advocate against mountain biking because it destroys the land. So that will be interesting from like a political standpoint. But I think mountain biking is growing. The bikes are getting better. You can get a really good bike for relatively inexpensive these days. So I'm seeing a lot more people get into mountain biking who wouldn't have in the past, and it's becoming a lot more accessible, especially with places like Highland Mountain Bike Park, who have built a ton of beginner-friendly trails and have like some really cool programs to get new riders into the sport. Like I think they have a $99 lift pass that includes a bike rental, pads, a lift ticket, and a free lesson, which is unbeatable. And it's really cool to see places like that doing that. I'm not sure if that's still a thing this year, but yeah. All right, so that's the last question I'm gonna take. Thanks for joining me. This was kind of a test, so I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to find out more information and just hang out with me some more, you can find me on Facebook, like always. And if you guys want to support what I do, I'd really appreciate it. You can find me on Patreon. $1 goes a long way. And you get access to more live streams like this. We'll be doing some more private sessions for a smaller group of people, so I can really focus on your questions. So yeah, that's how I got for this time. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys later. Oh yeah, thanks for playing bikes with me. Almost forgot that line. See you guys. Yep, stop.